Hey everybody, this is Bobby with RLA
And
Advisors,
this is Jay.
and we've got kind of an interesting question today. It came to us out of the blue, and it really didn't give us a whole lot of
No,
to go
it
on.
was very stagnant.
But we actually debated whether we should ever cover this or not, and we said why not?
Why not?
See what happens. So
You guys ask us questions, we have to deliver,
we got to.
even if it's something that we don't fully understand.
So here's the way it came in. Why should I stay married? That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, we were. Jay's the one that pulls me back a couple of times. I'm just throwing it away, and Jay's going, "Wait, now let's talk about that for a minute." And what we found is Jay discovered a little thing years ago. There used to be Dear Abby,
Yeah, yeah.
and Dear Abby used to give advice to women. And one of the things that Jay discovered, if I'm saying this correctly, she used to ask the question based on the woman: would I be better off with him or without him?
Mm-hmm.
And before I go on, because I've got some thoughts on this, what did you think when you read that part?
Well, I think that's a sound. I think as a baseline, I think that's a good place to start. I don't necessarily think that it should end there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the question is there to get you thinking
Uh-huh.
and communicating.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly where I wanted to go with this. If that's the question that we want to ask, because I don't think it's bad advice, but again, I don't know why this question was asked. It was just a question. But I would add into that, why were you ever with him or her? Because I think this goes both ways. And some of the challenges, and we've talked about this before when we've interviewed some other people, why did you fall in love at first? Or why did you get into a relationship? We've heard everything.
Sure.
We've heard, well, I got pregnant when I was young and we had to get married. We've heard, hey, it was great in the beginning.
Love at first sight.
The college years were wonderful when we were first, and then came kids, and we've heard all this stuff. So, am I better off with that person as without? But I'd actually throw that in there. What drew us together? And if you can put those two things together, I think maybe you've got an interesting conversation.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think it ends there either. It's that anything that's going to engage you thinking about the situation that you're in my opinion, that will cause you to have conversation with your partner, with your husband or wife, or whatever the case may be, such that it has you working out whatever it is that needs to be worked out. Because maybe things have changed enough in between the two of you, grown apart, whatever the case may be. Who knows what the reasons were? Even if you get to the core of why you fell in love in the beginning or why you were there together, doesn't necessarily mean that you will be in that same spot, even if you work through everything right now.
Right.
Sometimes it is better to go ahead and separate for both parties. Sometimes it's better to work out those indifferences and stay together. Sometimes there's somewhere in between that you can work out a compromise of some sort. The point, though, is, in my opinion, is to get that conversation going, and those questions get you thinking in the right direction.
Not only do they get you thinking in the right direction, I would challenge whoever wrote this to us to ask this question. I would think it would be an interesting discussion, and you got to take all the animosity out of it. I know how nervous this could be, but ask your significant other.
Yeah.
Should we stay married? And the interesting thing may come up, and we've seen this in some of our interviews, where the wife says it to the husband or the husband says it to the wife, and the one receiving the message is shocked, had no idea there was anything there.
Yeah.
And that opened up a world of conversation. So I think what I would offer, other than what we've set up to this point, is ask that question to your significant other.
I would ask one more thing. I would ask yourself, how can I be responsible for how things have gone?
Good question there. And be real about that.
Yeah, you have to be brutally honest with yourself.
That's tough.
But you've been in this marriage, right? You've been in this relationship, and things went the way they did. What if you took, just for a moment, think about if you took responsibility for that. How were you acting in the relationship? How were you feeling in the relationship? Did you let him do whatever he wanted to do? Did you let him do without communicating? What things and actions did you take that allowed that relationship to continue in that direction?
Very good question.
That will also give you some more information around your thoughts and how this thing turned out.
You can't change that other person, but you can definitely change yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a
and
great
that
point.
might be all that needs to be had.
Might be, but just think if you can do that on both sides of that coin. The man in the relationship, the woman in the relationship, both of them, both opposite sides can have that same conversation internally and talk to themselves. Here's what I did. I know I did this. I want to take responsibility for that and do whatever happens. If that's an apology, that's a change, whatever it is. My God, I can't
You
think
know,
of anything that's more.
I can't
sound.
remember. I can't remember who said this, but I would say in that situation, especially before you begin the communication, if you approach your relationship with where you give 100% and expect 0%,
Yeah.
and both parties do that,
Oh,
that relationship will be impeccable.
no question. No question.
So just consider that.
Well, we're running a little long here. Again, I appreciate Jay bringing this one to the table. I was ready to throw this question out, but I think it's been a good conversation.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks for that.
It was fun.
I hope it helped you. Leave us a comment below. We've got a couple of things coming up. We're going to finish today's session here in a short time, but I'd like to know what you think about this one.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. I'm
Talk to
Bobby.
you later. I'm Jay.
See ya.
Bye.